Hi.
Who are you and why you know so much about Car Wash Protocol?
So the Sokovia Accords were really hard on a lot of superheroes and their friends. So let's check in on Scott, Hope, and Hank in Antman and the Wasp.
It's probably just a waste of time.
So we go back to the night Hank Pym's wife Janet got lost in the quantum realm. They know a missile is about to launch and have to stop it. So since time is of the essence, they take their time to say goodbye to their daughter. And this causes them to show up just as the missile is being fired. So basically, her being lost is all Hope's fault.
She made her choice.
But Hank thinks that since Scott was able to come back, that he can bring her back, assuming the quantum realm has enough food, water, and breathable air, and enough of it to last her 30 years.
Scott's air won't last!
We then go to Scott, who's training his daughter to be both Antman and a thief.
I would be a terrible dad.
During their escape, Scott's ankle monitor slightly goes out of bounds, and the FBI thinks he's trying to escape for real.
I've got 3 days left. Why would I try to escape?
I thought you were cool.
Well, do you remember when he went to Germany, got ginormous, and destroyed a bunch of crap? Well, he was broken out of prison by Nat and Cap.
Cap?
That's what we call him.
But since he was homesick, he decided to turn himself in exchange for house arrest.
You mean you're a pussy?
Yeah.
So the UN went from putting these people in a secret prison in the middle of the ocean for the rest of their lives to 3 years of watching TV at home?
Yeah, pretty much. Although he will end up there if he uses the Antman tech or is caught talking to Hope or Hank.
Oh, that's not good.
But the FBI, led by Agent Wu, come in and search the place top to bottom because he was 4 inches over an imaginary line when he only has 3 days left before he's free. And then he performs some magic tricks for him. Not the Doctor Strange kind, but the kind weird guys use in bars to meet women.
You know, I sometimes just can't help myself.
After they leave, Scott takes a bath and has a dream about Janet, which is really weird timing because it happens to be the same day that Hope and Hank started looking for her. So Scott calls Hank, leaving him a voicemail, and then breaks his phone because he was embarrassed by his message.
I just had a really weird dream.
Was it a dream where you see yourself standing in sort of sun god robes on a pyramid with 1,000 naked women screaming and throwing little pickles at you?
I mean, not in a weird way.
And since they couldn't call him back, they drug him and kidnap him.
Well, what about his monitor?
Oh, Hope took it off and stuck it to a giant ant that they taught to pretend to be Scott in the couple hours that they knew he might have seen Janet.
Were you watching me?
Scott, I've been watching you for a while.
So Hope and Hank are hiding in this rundown office building, but managing to still get all the materials they need to build a portal to the quantum realm. It seems like you might need a signature for some of that stuff.
We traffic in stolen technology.
But they got it to work-ish last night, and Scott called right after, so they think he has a message from her, and his knowledge of Hope being shitty at hide-and-seek confirms this.
It's where I hid every time that we played.
You always find me, Mommy.
Doesn't sound like you really got the gist of the game.
Apparently, they need a part from some guy, so they need to meet with him, and since they're hiding, they take the entire building with them.
Yes, that should help you keep a low profile.
That's cool.
Right. Except we're to believe that they have their own power supply, and all the toilets are porta potties that they all clean themselves. Plus, they're only popping this building up in areas with the most unobservant people in San Francisco, including cops and mailmen.
Hey, the Postal Service is very reliable.
The building is also on suitcase rollers for extra convenience.
Nice.
Hope goes into the meeting where she's being blackmailed by this guy Sonny. He wants to sell their lab to somebody, and Hope doesn't like this, so she changes clothes and beats them up.
That's how you punch.
On her way out, this chick in white shows up and tries to take the part she was buying. She keeps phasing in and out, so it's hard for Hope to fight her.
Do you know she could do that?
And that's when Hank gives Scott another suit to go help her. But when he does, she disappears. Turns out, she grabbed the part and ran out, stealing their building too. Now that they have nowhere to go, they have to hide at Scott's new business with his old roommates.
I love you, Dr. Pym.
Luis asks if they LoJacked the building, and Hank says yes, but whoever stole it knew where the tracking system for the building was and turned it off. But the building gives off radiation, and Hank's friend Bill might be able to track it. But he's willing to give up on searching for his wife because he doesn't want to have an awkward conversation with an old buddy.
If only you'd protected Janet with such ferocity, Dr. Pym.
They go to the school where Bill works at and walk in on him giving a lecture on phasing matter.
So he's working with the phasing girl.
Shut up. Maybe he just knows how to help them fight her.
You can't afford to be this naive.
Anyway, he sees through their clever disguises right away.
It's not a disguise, Hank. We look like ourselves at a baseball game.
Where they argue until Agent Wu shows up to catch him.
Oh, someone must have seen me.
and it seems that their disguises don't work at all.
They ID'd both Pym and Van Dyne.
Who are you? Come on, man.
But Bill gives them an idea as they rush out, but the idea only works if they have an old suit. But luckily, Scott has one hidden in a World's Greatest Grandma trophy that Cassie gave him.
It makes me want to knit you a sweater.
But she took it to show and tell. So now they have to break into an elementary school and steal the suit. But the regulator on the new suit's broken, so Scott shrinks into the size of a child so they can make jokes.
Hiya, champ. How was school today? You want a juice box and some string cheese?
They manage to track down the lab and try to get it before Ghost wakes up from her nap. But even though they don't make any sound whatsoever, she wakes up and knocks them out.
You're going down, sucker.
They wake up to find out that she blames Hank for her condition because he fired her dad, but he continued the research, but was too stupid to know what he was doing and blew up the lab.
It's a poor attempt to replicate my work.
So now, she phases because she was also stupid and ran towards the blast to try to save her dad, even though he told her to run. And so both their stupidities got her mom killed too.
That's what you get for not having an education.
She's also mad that S.H.I.E.L.D. gave her a suit to control the phasing and trained her to be an assassin spy, and she was stupid enough to believe that they would ever fix her once they invested millions of dollars into making her a weapon.
I suppose we have to register you as a lethal weapon.
But after S.H.I.E.L.D. fell, Bill took her in to make her better.
I told you.
But I don't know why Bill would tell them how to find her when he could have just taken them there after explaining that they're looking for Janet too.
How would they know to look for Janet?
Oh, Bill and Ghost were spying on them. He was worried that his chamber wouldn't help her much longer, and instead of just asking for help from the world's leading expert, they decided to go on the off chance he was working on going to the quantum realm, which he had no intention of doing until Scott was able to come back.
You had all the answers back in the day.
Well, why wouldn't you just ask him for help?
Simple. We hate each other's guts.
So they need her to fix Ghost, while Hank thinks it might kill her, but Ghost and Bill don't care if it does.
Another casualty of Hank Pym's ego.
Hank fakes a heart attack, and Bill gets his pills, but when he opens it, a bunch of ants jump out like one of those snake in a can toys. They grab the part that they need and the building and get out of there. But unfortunately, Luis has a problem that he needs Scott's help for, so he tells him the location of the secret lab right before Sonny and his goons come in.
Great. Perfect timing.
Luis gives up that they're hiding in the woods, but Ghost shows up and scares the shit out of everyone. Sonny knows that he can't get the lab from Ghost, but the FBI can, so he makes a call. He's got an agent on the payroll, and they roll out to arrest Scott, while Sonny has his goons change his tires with the apparent 4 spares in his Escalade.
My resources are considerable.
At the lab, Hank fires up the machine, and Janet takes over Scott's body. But she doesn't know how much time she has, so she wastes it talking to them instead of fixing their work to get her out of there. But she finds herself in the quantum realm before Scott takes back over.
All right, princess, let's get back to work.
They only have 2 hours to get her.
After that, the probability fields will shift, and it'll be another century before they align like this again.
So Hope will have to go in and get her real quick.
Wait a minute. Scott was in the quantum realm for like 10 seconds, and Janet was able to find him and put something in his head. But if Hope were to go into the quantum realm without the coordinates, she would never be able to find her.
Yeah, with that knowledge, you'd think she could just go there and go, "Here I am."
Here I am!
But Luis calls to tell him that Ghost and the FBI are on the way. But I'm not sure why he took so long. I mean, he made the phone call and was drugged at night, but it's clearly morning when he calls to warn him.
It's complicated. What do you mean it's complicated?
Scott has to get back home, so he won't for sure be arrested, while Hope and Hank try to escape. But the FBI have half the building surrounded.
Oh no, the fuzz!
Odd protocol, but they still manage to arrest him. The agent Sonny called tries to steal the lab, but Ghost takes it from him.
Is it stealing if you steal from another thief?
Now we're supposed to believe that Hope and Hank were properly processed and then put into an interrogation room together for some reason, and all of this, plus their transfer from the woods outside of the city to the downtown of a major metropolitan area, all took place in under 2 hours.
Oh, okay. Hey, I believe you.
So Hope is about to destroy a government building, endangering lives of hundreds of agents in what could only be classified as a terrorist attack. But the ants bring her a suit. Then Scott and the ants wait until Hank brings up that he needs to get out too to show that they got him some FBI gear to wear. Because when time is of the essence, it's very important to wait for comedic timing.
What are you, laughing?
Don't laugh.
You're funny.
Seriously, don't joke around.
But I really fail to see how not a single FBI guy questions the presence of an 80-year-old field agent. But somehow, that works too, and they drive off.
Let's bounce before the po-po come back!
But Sonny had his guys sit outside the FBI building waiting for them to escape, just out the front door, when they've only just got there.
Well, they were escaping.
Well, yeah, but they shouldn't have been. Anyway, Hank has Scott follow some ants to the lab where Bill and Ghost are about to get Janet. They use the ants to lure Ghost out, so Hank can sneak in and go into the tunnel.
But wasn't Hope supposed to go?
She was, but they need her to fight Ghost. That is, if he can fix everything the ants took apart before she gets back.
I'm good at fixing things. Always was.
He also has some big ants keep Bill busy while he suits up.
You got somewhere else to be?
Hank goes into the quantum realm while Scott keeps Ghost busy.
I'm not gonna hurt you, Scott, unless I have to.
They shrink the building and plan on switching locations, but Sonny's there with a bunch of cars to take the lab. They go for a long car chase that could have easily been avoided if they would have just went tiny before they turned, but instead, they cause a bunch of wrecks and make sure that the FBI know it's them by shrinking and enlarging things all over town.
Well, the 60s were fun, but now I'm paying for it.
And when Sonny runs out of cars, he's got a backup motorcycle gang too.
Seriously?
Ghost catches up to them and steals a bike to go after them as well. She gets into the van and takes the lab, but Wasp gets on the truck that she stole and takes it back, but then loses it to Sonny when he rear-ends them.
I had anticipated a greater game of cat and mouse.
The truck is going out of control driving downtown, so Antman goes big to stop it, and then uses it like a scooter to get around, so he won't draw attention to himself, on the last day of his house arrest.
Admit it, you just love the attention. Actually, I had this outfit and I thought to myself, where am I going to possibly wear it?
Luis finds the remote in the van and needs to get it to them, so he gets a new car out of the Hot Wheels set and goes to meet Scott. But Sonny called more cars to go search the van for the remote right as Luis takes off.
It's gonna be great, Luis. You got nothing to worry about.
Don't worry. I was driving before you were itching your daddy's pants.
One car wrecks on the first turn, and Hope catches up to him to take out the remaining vehicle.
Mean pretty lady did good, Scott.
Antman then rolls up on Sonny and threatens to squish him if he doesn't give it back. But Sonny gets away from him and onto the world's fastest ferry, because it's miles away before he can even get an ant after he turns small.
How did he even have time to buy a ticket?
But then he turns huge and swims out to the boat and takes the building back. We then see that Hank has run out of time in the quantum realm and instantly goes insane.
You're not trying to draw a psycho picture. You really are crazy.
But then Janet immediately finds him, even though she claimed that her coordinates would shift after 2 hours. Guess they have like a 5-minute grace period or something. And then she cures his insanity by rubbing his temples.
Don't worry about me. I'll be fine.
They go to head back, but Hank's equipment knows that the lab isn't full size, and they shouldn't go back yet.
Well, if droids could think, there'd be none of us here, would there?
And of course, all this moving around hasn't damaged anything at all.
Hank, I would never do that. I respect you too much.
While Antman being huge and coming out of the ocean like the Kraken has attracted a bit of attention, so Wu is trying to catch him in the act. He's exhausted from being so big that he passes out in the water.
The only thing more tiring than going that big is putting up with Hank's bullshit.
So Wasp goes in to get him, leaving Luis with the remote and the lab. And as soon as she's gone, Ghost hits Luis and takes the remote.
That's on me.
Since she only has a few days left to live, it's super important that she accomplishes her mission. So she stupidly enlarges the building right then and there, so the superheroes can stop her in just a minute.
Not a great plan.
Hank gets the alert that the building's back to normal size, so he and Janet go back. Wasp gets Antman out of the water, and then they catch up for a minute before going inside.
Think you can stop daydreaming about my daughter long enough to get my lab?
Sonny goes after Luis, thinking he was the one dumb enough to enlarge the building at a tourist attraction, and since he doesn't actually have it, they think it's smart to publicly execute him in front of all these onlookers. But Kurt and Dave show up out of nowhere and take them out.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I call an unfortunate casualty in a very serious operation.
Bill also shows up to stop Ghost from killing Janet. But Ava can't be convinced that the leading scientists in all this quantum crap can save her, even though one has lived in the quantum realm for 30 years and, unknown to her, has superpowers now.
Okay, anybody on our side hiding any shocking and fantastic abilities they'd like to disclose? I'm open to suggestions.
So Antman and Wasp fight her, but end up just letting her get hit by the quantum car when it comes back.
Do you guys just put the word quantum in front of everything?
So Janet pops out, and Scott was right about 2 things. 1, she would remember Hope, and 2, she would be George Washington.
What if she's a completely different person?
Yeah, like George Washington.
Janet looks over and sees Ghost phasing in and out, and uses some of that temple magic on her, and apparently now she's all better.
I know how to reorient the spirit to better heal the body.
Luis comes in to let him know that the cops are coming.
Let's bounce before the po-po come back!
So they all need to go like right now. But when they do show up, they only cover one side of the building again, so everybody's able to get away.
He went completely the other way.
I'm not sure how, but they inflate the giant Antman suit like 20 blocks away to distract Wu, but Scott is just around the corner and now has to outrun him to his house in his underwear.
You can do it. You are the world's greatest grandma.
If only Cap could see you now.
Which he does, because the agency couldn't possibly send another agent to check on a guy on his final day of house arrest.
Really? This guy again?
Hank also manages to shrink the building, and everyone gets away in Luis's crappy brown van, with the cops right there.
Some detective.
Scott goes to see his daughter, and after seeing Kurt and Dave take down Sonny, a bunch of people want their company to install their security cameras.
That's terrible bossing.
So now that Janet's back, she's able to improve the quantum technology.
So they build a tunnel in the back of Luis's crappy van.
Whoop, sorry. My bad.
So to try it out, Scott goes into the quantum realm.
And don't get sucked into a time vortex. We won't be able to save you.
But when he tries to come back, he can't. Because Hank, Hope, and Janet are gone.
Well, where'd they go?
You'll see.
We gotta go right now.
Wait! You might have a chance to watch more of our content if you subscribe and like this video.
That could work. Thank you. Thank you.
I have to go.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You may go.
Just go!